All right, everyone. We start off today talking about, is Donald Trump unstoppable? Link in the description, archived of course, talking about how over and over and over again, everything lines up against Donald Trump and he simply bulldozes right through it. I happen to agree with this generally speaking. He's a little bit like a Teddy Roosevelt. There was one time when Teddy Roosevelt was giving a speech, this is 100 years ago, of course, so I don't remember it personally, and he got shot, and then he proceeded to give the rest of his speech and effectively ignored the fact that he had been shot. Then he sought medical attention. Reminds me a little bit of Donald Trump. When he was shot in the head, what was his first inclination? Fight, fight, fight. It had nothing to do with getting on stage or rushing for cover or anything like that. He just basically told people to fight. It's a little bit similar when you think about it. You've got the double non-consecutive terms of Cleveland mixed with the attitude of Teddy Roosevelt. That's effectively who Trump is. And then I was thinking to myself, normally, fairly recently, you haven't had a lot of strongman presidents. You've had mostly people that are more, the political suits, so to speak. People that are more into bureaucracy and legalese and things like that. So you have like Clinton, Herbert Walker, Bush Jr., Obama, etc. Tend to be fairly well-spoken, but not necessarily, they're not exactly the kind of magnate that Donald Trump happens to be. You really have to go back to the first term of Ronald Reagan in order to find something that's roughly comparable. In that sense, what happened was that in the 70s, liberalism began to fail. It began to crack, and then you get Ronald Reagan. Liberalism, in the modern sense, has begun to fail. It's begun to crack. The id poll is no longer working, and so you get Donald Trump. So, in a way, he's sort of a fusion of Grover Cleveland's non-consecutive terms, Ronald Reagan in the more modern sense, and a little bit of Teddy Roosevelt. Yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is effectively unstoppable. I mean, they've already tried to kill him twice, and that didn't work. There's really nothing else that they can do. The lawfare against him has failed. The assassination attempts failed. Over and over and over again, we see this. Really, the only thing that Donald Trump has to deal with at this point is obstruction from his own party. He doesn't have to worry about the Democrats. They're really not the problem. What he has to worry about is the House Republicans more than anything else. That's his nemesis now. The House Republicans, being the nemesis of a sitting Republican president, of course, is slightly odd, not exactly normal, and very inconvenient. But that's really the only thing standing in his way. Apparently, shooting him is not going to do anything because he's just going to walk away from it. So that's basically what they've been reduced to. With the lawfare gone, Jack Smith's case has fallen through. He decided to resign because he knew that, otherwise he's going to get kicked out anyway, so he resigns. You've got the indefinite postponement for the hush money sentencing. Donald Trump has effectively been convicted. However, they're not going to do anything about it, and they're not going to do anything after his presidency, I predict, either. He no longer has any fucks to give. He can't run again. He's already been reelected for his second term. And despite liberals pretending that he's going to attempt to get a third term or run again, which wouldn't be legal, basically this is it. These are the last 4 years of the Trump era. Thankfully, they're likely to be relatively good years, unless Joe Biden is successful in causing World War III. We're not sure. I mean, he's a little bit out of it, so we'll see how he succeeds with that one. Sending landmines and ICBMs to Ukraine. Great idea. Totally coincidental timing, by the way. Yes, a total coincidence. I think that Donald Trump is effectively unstoppable. And more than that, his political force is effectively unstoppable. That is, that the current paradigm is populistic. The current socio-political paradigm is no longer the liberalism of the 70s. It's no longer the neocon, neolib sort of thing that we had over the last couple of decades. Effectively, it's Trump. He's basically the figurehead of an entire socio-political movement. And I do not believe, by the way, that it'll end with Donald Trump leaving office. I think that whoever he mints, presumptively J.D. Vance, but we're not 100% sure yet, will probably win the election in 2028 as well. I have every reason to believe that that will actually occur. The Democrats can't get their shit together. If they can't reform their party, If they're going with the sort of modus operandi that they've gone with for the last few decades, they're necessarily they're going to lose because it's no longer appealing to people. It doesn't seem that really there's anyone, though, in the party that can lead that sort of transformation. They don't appear to exist. They're talking about running Harris again at the moment, for example. That's a terrible idea. I mean, you can. Will she win? No, she would lose. My prediction would be pretty much ironclad on day one. Should she join the primaries and should she actually become the nominee again? That's going to be real easy to predict. It's going to be a lot easier than the last election, and certainly easier than 2020 or 2016. That's about all. Peace out.